episode of JMB Live Podcast. If you're tapped into the live again, drop your city in the comments right now. Let us know where you're hailing from. We'll really appreciate it. And if you are watching on replay, make sure you hit that like button immediately. It helps the algorithm push the real conversation. Of course, we're not on replay yet because we're actually live, but this is for some of the people that like to come later when they have the opportunity to watch live. Okay. So thank you again for joining us.
All right, keep those hearts and those comments and those gifts coming. And shout out to our YouTube family, our podcast listeners, everyone that's catching the clip or the clips, because some of you may prefer to go back and watch several episodes. So share this particular episode because, guys, the contents does matter. And of course, we want this context. What we're doing, we want it to spread. So
Right.
when the word, go ahead, Broker J.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just fine. Go ahead.
Okay, guys. So according to multiple international outlets, the former Prince Andrew was arrested today. Yes, today, following a renewed investigative activities tied to the Epstein file. So we're going to be very clear tonight. This is reported, developing, and alleged.
All right, guys. Before we get deep into our story, big shout outs to our YouTube family, our Big O Live, our TikTok. We're streaming on multiple platforms, so you guys know we may not always get the opportunity to catch your comments, but we wanted to thank you for your comments. Thank you for your gifts. Your gifts go a long way, guys. And always remember to follow our top gifters. We want to help grow their platforms as well. Okay. And everybody that's catching the clips, make sure you share this episode because know why? Content really matters. When the word arrest meets the word royal, the world stops scrolling. Doc B, let's dive into today's story.
Yes, just think about it. If they can arrest someone that's royalty, that speaks volumes. So, guys, what is being reported? As I mentioned earlier, according to international media, specifically BBC, authorities they did to detain Prince Andrews earlier today as part of an ongoing investigation that is connected to documents and communication associated with guess who? Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes,
So
yes.
law enforcement has not yet released the full charging details, but I can almost guarantee you they'll probably be released by the time we get off of this episode.
Exactly. I'm quite sure of that as well, Dr. B. And that distinction really matters, guys. Arrest does not equal conviction, but according to the legal analyst, the arrest at this level typically signals that investigators believe that the thresholds have been met to actually justify, putting Prince Andrew into custody.
Yes, because just think about it, they wouldn't risk um, the in arresting him if they didn't have the evidence. Just think about someone had to sign off on the arrest or the warrant or whatever. They wouldn't just do that, even though things are done a little bit different in other countries. So shout out to Javille, Diana Ross. I like that name. Nana, Wayne, Joe, thank you guys for joining us and being a part of the JMB family. So, guys, just think about it. If you believe facts matter more than spin, I want you to tap that like, that share, and of course, share this screen. Arrests don't just happen on vibes. As I mentioned earlier, they had to have the evidence in order to arrest someone, especially from the royal family. They wouldn't have just done that. Okay,
Yeah,
guys?
exactly. Now, all right. So why does Epstein keep coming back? It's almost like he's coming back from the grave. Because it was already
that's funny, Broker J3.
It was already a lot of speculation in regards to his uh suicide. That's what it was claimed.
Yeah.
But it's already a lot of speculation about that. I personally believe that man was going to come out and start talking, telling on some people because he had a lot of evidence to show a lot of people that he wasn't by himself.
And my thing of it is the logic behind that is there has been some new evidence that has come up. I think it may have been shared maybe a week or two ago that said that someone else did go. They saw orange, color orange, going into Jeffrey Epstein's cell. So, but then you have to think about too, Broker J3. He really had it made because he didn't feel like he was going to be in jail that long. Just think about it. So I don't see him killing himself because he didn't think he was going to do any time because he never had before. You know?
It just didn't make sense. The way everything was playing out, even with some of the emails in conjunction, what was sent back and forth. It's just amazing the timing of Epstein's death. But nonetheless, according to the court records, the investigative journalism, Epstein case never closed clearly, which we already know it's been ongoing. It didn't make sense even when once it started. So the network around him, the access he had, and the people he moved among remains unresolved in the public mind.
Yeah, that's crazy, guys. So, according to survivors, the survivor advocates, every resurfacing of this case reopens the trauma, and they're the ones who I really feel for. But it also pushes accountability for because the survivors want someone to be accountable for what has happened to them. Silent protests, silence is really protecting the system, not just the people.
Exactly. And right now I want to give a shout out to any of the survivors that could be watching the broadcast or listening. We see you. Keep this conversation alive by sharing. Guys, Epstein didn't move alone, and the paper trail proves it. Representative Jasmine Crockett, made a statement. I believe it was yesterday, in regards to one of the people that they um, uh, what you call that, dot B, when well, one of the guys said he couldn't remember. He was one of the financiers for Epstein. I can't remember his name.
I think it was Wes.
Wes.
I want to say Resner.
Yes.
I think that's his last name.
Nonetheless, she made the statement to, if you can't remember who is involved, turn over your financial statements because, as the survivors said, follow the money.
Yep, yes, exactly.
This guy financed Epstein. So if you follow the money, you can follow where all these people who was paying, for these victims, these survivors. That's what they are. Not the supposedly victim pedophiles that the administration, including the president, is protecting.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So let's talk about the royal symbolism, what it means for them to actually arrest. He's not a prince now; he's the former prince because when it first came out, he was dethroned, but he is Prince Charles' brother. Okay, so let's talk about symbolism. According to historians, British royalty represents stability and continuity. So an arrest tied to a royal figure disrupts that image globally. They don't want that negativity associated with their family and with royalty.
Yeah, and today is his birthday.
Yeah,
something. Now, can you imagine the optics are totally unavoidable? Crown ceremonies and privilege collide with law enforcement. The image alone fuels global outrage. Now, just on a side note, now Prince Andrews is not the only one that's having some issues right now across the globe. Other countries are hitting back hard. There's a lot of CEOs, people that's on boards for big companies are stepping down or being forced to step down. They are taking action. They are not allowing these pedophiles to continue to go on. But yet, here in the United States, they're being protected by Donald Trump, his DOJ, and his administration.
Yeah, that is true.
Now, big shout outs.
PK and Tan is online with us, so thank you for your gifts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pecan Tan is in the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome, Pecan Tan. That's one of my cousins. Much love to you. Thank you for joining us as always. She's one of our day ones. All right, guys, comment below. Should royalty ever be shielded from public accountability? If you feel that royalty should be shielded by public accountability, let us know how you feel about that.
Okay, guys. Now, I, of course, don't feel like it should be shielded because just think about what's happening now in the United States. Are the billionaires being shielded, or they are being shielded and not being accountable from accountability because Trump is protecting, DOJ is protecting the billionaires because they won't release their names in those Epstein files. They keep saying innocent people. Well, everybody they can be innocent until proven guilty. So
Yeah.
a crown doesn't cancel consequences. I don't care who they are, royalty, Democrat, Republican, billionaires, millionaires. We don't care. We just want them to be accountable for what they have done. So unlike the United States, they are not protecting the royalty or the rich. The United States is protecting those, but not the other countries.
Yeah, and
as far as I know, the ones that have reported some type of arrest or some type of sanction, they are not protecting them. You don't know how many countries are involved.
And it does not matter, Republican, Democrat, Independent, or whatever party you stand for. If you don't, if you was involved, and I'm not talking about having an association with Epstein because there are some people that have had association with him, but was not part of that child trafficking situation that was going on and pedophilia. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people that were involved, that was a part of what was going on. So,
okay. So Smiley says, no matter who you are, everybody have to pay for their wrongdoings. I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Everybody, it doesn't matter, royalty, billionaires, millionaires, Republicans, Democrats, independents, liberals, who, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You have to pay for your wrongdoings. Everybody should be held accountable. No one is above the law. And that's why I'm having a hard time with the Supreme Court, who gave Trump saying that he couldn't be prosecuted because of him being president. That puts him above the law.
Yeah. And it's crazy because if that was the case, Nixon would have never resigned. If that was the case, but
when you think about it.
But that's why we was talking before about having these restrictions and term limits on Congress, Senate, and the appointed court officials, because they should not have a lifetime to be able to do that, because Trump appointed several of those judges, that helped to put him into that situation, which is a shame.
Someone says Epstein is dead. Why they keep bringing his name up? He is trash. Yes, he is.
Yeah,
yes,
he was,
but he wasn't by himself.
Yeah, and 444. That's the reason why, because everybody puts the what Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell did, but you have to realize we're talking about hundreds, almost thousands of young ladies and even some young boys that was involved in this. And there's no way in the world that Epstein alone and Ghislaine Maxwell did this by themselves. They were almost I don't want to use the word, but they're pimping out,
sex trafficking
those young girls, those survivors. That and it's a shame. And it's a shame. And it's forgot his name. Said what's done in the dark is going to come to the light, and that's what's happening right now. It's finally coming to the light because we're talking about years of this being suppressed.
And underestimated, saying he's the piece to the puzzle, and a lot of celebrities was involved.
Exactly,
you are exactly right.
Exactly, and it's coming,
and it's coming.
It's
out.
Coming. It
may take some time.
Yeah.
But and there was some preacher, I can't a pastor that was on Don Lemon today, and he said, according to Scripture, what's done in the dark is going to come to light. And so it's just a matter of time. And I agree with you. Someone said he's the piece to the puzzle. Yes, he is. He is the piece of that puzzle. And a lot of celebrities, billionaires, princes, royalties all
Yeah.
over the world.
Yeah. And 444, you're
Are
right.
involved.
R. Kelly, P. Diddy, Bill Cosby.
I'm not
Now,
sure. I wouldn't be surprised.
now,
Not first
it
I heard
doesn't.
Bill Cosby,
It
though,
does.
but I would not be surprised.
No, it's not. Now, I've heard
You
about
heard
Bill
Bill
Cosby,
Cosby before? I
and
hadn't
them
heard his name.
barbiturates giving them young girls those pills and
I know
passing
that,
out.
but I'm talking about involved with the Epstein.
No,
files.
well, I'm not
Yeah,
sure about the
yeah,
Epstein, but
yeah.
just, and you're right. 75% of the church leaders are sick and twisted, and you're right. And see,
Yes.
that's what's happening. That's why it's being so suppressed here in the United States. Now, even like you were saying with the churches, the Catholic, especially the Catholic Church, is
been
back.
doing it for years.
They've been doing it for years, where you have all these bishops messing with these little boys. And instead of getting rid of them, you know what they do? Move them to another location.
So they can continue.
Instead of taking them out of the church. It just does not make sense.
And what's the sadder part about this, guys, is, Trump is saying, are y'all still talking, when somebody brings up, ask him a question about the Epstein file, he said, y'all still talking about that, push it on the rug. He just doesn't know. When he does that, the reporters, especially the journalists, the streaming networks, that makes them want to dig even more. And now that a lot of people have started digging, they have found out that this was a sex trafficking ring.
Yeah. And Underestimated says the universe is doing a cleanup. And you're absolutely right, because it's actually happening. It's just, unfortunately, here in the States, it's a slower process because of the administration and the president. They're covering it up. They're trying to push it under the rug, as Dr. B said earlier. They do not want this stuff to come to light. And the craziest part about it, the person who is mentioned the most in the Epstein files is President Trump. He's mentioned more than anybody in the Epstein files, and he's the main one that's trying to push it under the rug.
I don't know about y'all. I don't know about everyone on this podcast or listening, but that makes me angry that we have a president of the United States in office that was associated with sex trafficking. And nothing's being done. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's just, it just blows my mind.
And it's crazy because under normal circumstances, you got people in the past from big companies and stuff like that. Even what's the name? Russell Simmons had to step down when there was accusations about him messing with young girls and stuff like that. So he had to step down.
And not just that, he left the country.
He stepped down and he left the country. But it's so crazy that this is happening, and these people names are coming up, but yet nothing is happening. And it's like nobody's really pushing the issue for something to happen. It just does not make sense.
And just think about it, guys. Just think about where you live. Drop us your city, where you live. Just think about it in your city, in your community where you live. If this came out and one of somebody was accused of this, how fast would it take for them to get locked up and get arrested?
Yeah. What if one of these people would want your neighbor or your pastor or somebody that you looked up to? What if one of the survivors was your daughter, or they're older now, or your aunt or your mom? How would you feel about that? Would you want it to be pushed under the rug?
Yeah.
It sickens my heart when I think about when they did the thing with Pam Bondi when she went before the Congress, and she would not even turn around to even look at the survivors. You telling me that you spoke to Ghislaine Maxwell, the woman that was convicted of child sex trafficking? You guys talked to her and then put her in a minimum security, took her out of the maximum security, put a minimum security, and you have not even spoken to the victims.
That don't make no sense. Okay, guys. So thank you guys for joining us for this episode. We're wishing Prince Andrews a happy birthday because he was arrested today. And I said that's a happy birthday present for him being arrested in association with the
He get what he deserves.
Yes, 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 it is. Okay, guys. So we just got a flag. I'm not sure where that flag was from, but we're going to be careful about how we go forward. Yeah. Maybe too late, but we're just keeping it real.
Yeah, I think what it is, and guys, if you're on our live, we're not going to always say what you guys may believe in. Some of you, we have always had MAGA in the room, Republicans also in the room, and there's nothing wrong with that. We welcome that. And if you want to make a comment, put it in the comments and let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's our show. That's our
model. Don't try to flag us just because you feel like we're talking about things that's happening. We're talking about facts. Yeah. Trump's name is mentioned more than anybody else.
Yes, and that's
in the Epstein files. Yeah. So it's not like we're coming against him personally, but if you was involved in that mess, you need to be taken down. I don't care who you are, Democrat, Republican, president, Congress, it doesn't matter. You need to come down. But,
okay, guys. So we're talking about, someone 444 mentioned, why can't they find Nancy Guthrie's? I'm not sure. I hadn't checked up on that particular story today, but that says, I have a question mark about that because, she's affiliated. She's a journalist, the mom, she's on the news. So to me, I don't know the details of that, but that's something that we will research. And so, I will try to follow that and have a little bit more information for you when we look at that again. So let's think about the aftermath, what the United States is going to do after the arrest of former Prince Andrews.
Okay.
What's going to happen next? What do you think, Broker J3?
Well, let's bring this home, okay? According to the political analysts, this story will absolutely ripple through the United States. Now, here's what likely may happen. Members of Congress may, and I say that literally, members of Congress may issue statements about accountability and transparency, which we're not getting any transparency from this administration. The MAGA-aligned commentators, there's so many of them, may start to use the arrest as proof of corrupt global elite, of course, while avoiding the U.S. parallels. But what do you think is going to happen after the arrest of the former Prince Andrews? What do you think about that,
okay, guys? What do y'all think? You think that they're going to be more? There have been a few people stepping down, maybe people resigning from business, but nothing like what's happening in the other countries. So, guys, what do you think is going to happen? Go ahead and drop it in the comment. I'm going to let you know what I think is going to happen. Okay. So I think the Republicans, I know the Democrats for sure, are going to highlight certain aspects that benefit their narratives. They're going to continue on with what they're talking about, and they're going to place this in the middle of that so they stick with the same narratives. But I think the Democrats should really hone in and focus on what's going on with the former Prince Andrews and run ads, get out there and talk about it, do town hall meetings to indicate that they want some accountability in the United States. They have to do that. They have to do that. So everyday Americans will grow more skeptical of a justice system that appears unequal. That's what's happening. We're tired. The everyday people are tired of this same old, same old.
All right, guys. Well, according to the public sentiment data, trust is in institutions are already fragile. Stories like this either they force reform or they deepen the cynicism.
Okay, guys. So shout out. We just been kicked off for what was that? TikTok.
TikTok got rid of us.
Yeah, they kicked us off, and they do that because y'all know who TikTok is owned by.
Yeah.
So it's just like this. They're gonna sanction us if we mention certain words or if we say certain things. But we believe in giving you guys the truth. So shout out to you guys. If you're tired of this selective outrage, because right now that's what's happening in the United States, share this episode. Engagement keeps us visible. Americans don't want to just watch scandals. We want somebody to be accountable for those scandals that are happening. So are you upset that the DOJ is not prosecuting Trump? I am. I'm very pissed off. I'm pissed off that they're not forcing Lutnick to resign. This is crazy. I'm upset. Are you upset that any of the billionaires mentioned in the Epstein files If so, add an emoji in the comment.
Yeah, and you're right. Underestimated. We probably have to switch up some of our words.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame because ever since Trump people took over the TikTok, that's been happening to a lot of
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and it's a shame that free speech is literally being wiped away. You guys can go to True Social, which is Trump's social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
This man can lie and say anything that he wants about anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but yet the platforms that he have associated himself with, they will not allow you to say anything against him, whether it's true or not.
And see, what gets me is whatever we have said on this particular episode, it didn't come directly from us. We are reporting what's already out there.
Yeah, and
That's the crazy part about it. They don't want you to repeat it. And that's what's happening to legacy news. They want to sanction and tell you what to say and what not to say because they're trying to tell people what they want them to hear. So when you hear the news on those legacy media outlets, they're telling you what they want you to believe,
Yeah.
not what's accurate.
Yeah, but when you start reporting what's accurate, like Don Lemon, they want to arrest you.
Yeah, that is true.
It's foolishness. Now, while we're talking about it, let's get into this media spin and damage control. According to the media analysts, the next phase is that spin, which is going on right now. Who frames the story first and who stays silent. Look for Trump to create another distraction.
Yeah,
just wait
crazy.
because it's coming. This a lot of stuff that's going on right now, even with the ICE.
Yeah.
All that are distractions that he was hoping that people would divert away from Epstein and start thinking about what ICE is doing instead of the Epstein files.
And I think that was underestimated. Said, well, they're not going to do anything to him. And you know what? Underestimate, I believe.
Yeah, too much power.
He has too much
power.
And what gets me though is the senators, the Republicans, are afraid of him. Can you be afraid of a person that's in control? They could have him impeached tomorrow if they wanted to.
Yeah, and kicked out of office.
Kicked out of office and locked up.
Yeah, they really can. It's just the fact that they're scared.
They're scared. So, guys, shout out to all of our viewers and our listeners. Thank you guys for joining us. And hopefully you guys won't kick us out or kick us off. So thank you. We have been kicked off of TikTok. Okay. So hit that like, share, and subscribe to keep the algorithm going. We appreciate those of you who are joining us and who are a part of the JMB family. We don't take anything for granted. So, guys, remember, we believe in engagement and empowering you so that when you know better, you can do better. Okay, so our broker J3, let's keep this train going.
Okay. All right, guys. Silence speak loudly. When powerful institutions hesitate, the public fills in the gaps and not always kindly. So shout out, drop a comment, even if it's just one word. Comment, drives the reach. Let us know how you feel about the arrest of the former Prince Andrew. He is the brother of Prince Charles. So let us know how you feel about him. Personally, I know how I feel about him, but apparently I got to watch my words.
Yes,
as Dobby said, TikTok already done. But it was our first time, first time ever being kicked off alive. But hopefully we can make amends so that it doesn't happen again.
And we're gonna figure out exactly what we did so that we can be more. Careful.
Well, it was when it came up, it said someone reported our live. So that means that somebody that was on our live didn't like what we said. Probably talking about Trump. Probably could have been MAGA because they're, like said before, they're always in our live, always, and we welcome it. We literally welcome it because we like to have a conversation. We like to talk about it. But some people, now we've had so many Republicans and MAGAs that then came into our live and actually chatted with us. Some of them even sent gifts because they were so happy that we actually talked to them about how they felt in regards to certain subjects. But we got some apparently that don't want to hear what you have to say and they want to report you. So
Okay, guys. So silence is the strategy right now. So since this arrest, there probably won't be any words said for a minute from Trump or from Pam Bundy. But the internet doesn't wait. The news media, they're already spinning this in several different directions. You guys know that already. Some say this is in no way says he was anyway sexually. I want to make sure that's clear. This is our disclaimer. That no way that he sexually assaulted women. This is not associated with that. Some say he's being accused of just sharing confidential information with Epstein, which is a crime in that particular country. And others are accusing the U.S. of not reacting appropriately regarding some billionaires that are mentioned in the Epstein files.
yeah, and Jessica, we will follow you. We follow everyone that follows JMB Live podcast. So if you have followed us, we will follow you back. So
okay, so guys, send out those hearts. Go ahead and add those comments. Let us know what you guys are thinking.
and don't be afraid to send us a gift, guys. That helps keeps us going, and it actually helps affect the algorithm.
He says, I think you have to say SA and not the whole
Yeah, you know
word.
what? Yeah, and you're right. And sometimes as we get so involved in when we what we're thinking about, sometimes it's hard to say that. Just like they like to say unalived instead of the other word. So um, instead of saying, you know, the person's name, just say the president.
Yeah.
So, it's believe it or not, we've had issues with TikTok before. We just never actually been kicked off while we were live. So this is our first time. So we will rectify that because we would hate for our followers that watch us on TikTok not to be able to,
hear the entire episode.
Exactly. But hopefully, as we always say, make sure you go to YouTube at Live with J and B, and you can always catch all episodes and all of our other content associated with the J and B Live podcast. Okay, Doc B, give us your final thoughts on today's podcast.
Okay, according to history, accountability rarely starts at the top, and it does not. I mean, right now, what's happening is the people associated with Epstein are getting prosecuted right now, and then usually it's going to go to the top. But for me personally, I think it should have started at the top. Yes. I think those heads should have rolled first.
Yes.
But what's happening is they use the other people and make them accountable or responsible. I use them as the guinea pig. An example of that is Ghislaine Maxwell. They're using her as the guinea pig. Even though she has a lot of information, she knows who's in those files and she knows who those big wheels are. But right now she's trying to get a plea so she can get out of jail. So it's demanded by the public pressure, documentation, and persistence. We have to demand accountability. We have to say this type of behavior or what they're doing is not acceptable. I'll say whatever today's arrest leads to, charges or not, the message is very clear. Status no longer guarantees your silence. Survivors, they deserve every ounce of the truth, not a delay. Institutions must learn that trust is earned and not inherited.
Yes. And karma, you're absolutely right. It's going to come out regardless.
Yeah, you can't hide from karma. I got you there.
And you're right, underestimated. We are on other platforms, and all of our content is on YouTube.
Yes, it is.
So no matter how, we're on all social media platforms, but if you want to catch everything that we have, it's going to be on YouTube at Live with J and B. And for our audio listeners out there, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcast listening enjoyment, J and B Live Podcast, and you'll find us there.
Now, okay, Queens, thank you for joining us. Brian E9, thank you for joining us. And Sunshine, we see you guys. Thank you for joining us.
All right, guys. So here's my final thoughts on today's episode. This story isn't finished. It's basically unfolding right now. And according to the patterns we've seen before, the public decides whether this fades or forces reform. You have to stay engaged, question all the narratives, and don't let the headlines distract you from the systems. Don't let them do that to you. Okay? So like, subscribe, and share because the algorithm always amplifies what people refuse to ignore.
Yes, it does. Again, shout out to our viewers. Go ahead, guys, and leave us those final comments. We got Rambo online. We got visitors 8052 and Jason
Musician.
Go ahead and leave us
Reverend Lowdown.
Yeah, leave us those final comments.
Those
and
final
let
gifts.
Us, final gifts, and let us know what you're thinking. We'll share it. If we're we should be able to read maybe two of them on the air, but just go ahead and get them in. Okay, Trump has to win in order to start the cleanup and reunite everyone. I don't know if he wants to reunite everyone. I think he wants us to be divided.
Yeah, I think he wants us to be divided.
Mm-hmm.
And even the talks of policing the polls, for the midterms, it's going to be something to see, guys. I mean,
and also in the news today, there are talks of a war with Iran. So, in the next month or so, they say it's on the brink. And when you hear the words on the brink, you just know that it may be coming soon.
Yeah, and that's crazy because he likes to call himself the peace president, but we're not going to get into that. Mm-hmm. So go ahead again, like, share, subscribe, comment. Remember, engagement determines whether the conversation lives or disappears.
Okay, guys, thank you. And thank you, Underestimated. We appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you for all your comments. And we want to make sure you join us every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m.
And sometimes we do our pop-ups in between now.
But go ahead and subscribe. So when we do go live, you are aware that we're going live. So we appreciate you guys and thank you for your support. And he also says he had to win so everyone can see the truth. Exactly. Because some people, whether you want to believe it or not, some people, regardless of what this president is doing, some people still support him.
Oh, Underestimated is a she.
Oh, she. I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Some people are going to support him no matter what he does. It does not matter. That 36% are going to remain loyal. So Underestimate, we thank you for joining us.
Come see us again.
Yes, please, I would love for you to do a pop-up. I would love for you to actually pop up and join in our conversation. Thank you again.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the JMB Live family. I'm Broker J3.
I'm Dr. B.
And as always, guys, let's talk about it. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate